All right, this video is going to be the briefest of introductions to circuits and circuit schematics and the symbols that we use to build circuits in a physicsy kind of way. So the most common symbol in a circuit schematic that you're going to see is the resistor, which just looks like this. It's a little squiggle. How easy is that? So this here is a resistor. So if you see this in a circuit schematic, you know that you're dealing with a resistor. And it's going to have a certain amount of resistance, and that'll be something you use to add when you're solving an Ohm's law problem, for example. And so batteries, we've seen this a couple times. Batteries look like this. Sometimes you might actually see them a little bit more complicated, like, right? The bigger end means that that's the positive end of the battery, and this will be the negative end of the battery, so that's important to take into account. So this is a battery. Now, batteries themselves are made out of conductive materials, right? Conductive materials always have some resistance. So if you want to find a battery with internal resistance, sometimes you'll see a little mini resistor right next to the battery, like that. Okay? So that is a battery with internal resistance, which means just the resistance of the battery itself. All right. Now, there's some tools that you put inside of circuits to actually measure the voltage between 2 points. That is just a voltmeter, and simply put, it's just this little circle with a V in it. And then lastly, you're going to have a symbol for something that measures the current in a circuit, and that's just going to be the ammeter. So there's like an A there. All right. Those are the big ones. I'll add one more. When there's a switch in a circuit, the switch will look like this, right? So in other words, it's this little piece there that you can actually open or close, right? That is the majority of what we're going to see inside of circuits that we analyze for this course, okay? And so just to practice this a little bit, how would we recreate this household appliance cartoon over here? And I'm going to leave this picture up so that you can reference it and look at it while we build this, right? So at the very, very bottom of that picture, all right, it says there is just like two little points like this, right? This is attached to the power source, so that's just going to be translated into a battery. So that's just going to be this. We'll say that. That's our power source, okay? And every time that we see some kind of appliance, what we're really dealing with is a resistor, okay? So the first thing that happens is, we're leaving this battery or this power source, and we see a hairdryer, okay? Now, that hairdryer, it combines from those two sources together, from the two sides of this wire, and you get that hairdryer as a resistor right there. All right, but it doesn't end there. It keeps on going, right? And the next thing you see is this power amplifier, and the power amplifier is just another resistor. It's the same symbol. It makes our life so much easier. The only thing that changes is the resistance of each of these, okay? Next, you get to an area where there's nothing plugged in, right? And so there's a couple ways that we can handle this, but mostly if it's not plugged in, it's not actually connected, right? There's no complete circuit, so you wouldn't draw anything there. You would just go ahead and move on to the next one, which is the electric heater. So over here, I'm going to say this is the dryer, hair dryer. This is the amp, the power amplifier. This is the heater. And finally, at the end here, you have it continuing still, and it goes to a light bulb, right? That light bulb is also just a resistor, but the only thing that's different is that there's a switch, so you can put one of these right there like that, okay? Now you can see why we like circuit schematics with our little symbols, with our cute little symbols. They're so cute, all right? The reason why we like it is look how complicated that picture is, and then look how much more simple this schematic is. Instead of all these different pictures and making sure we have that all taken care of, I can just be like, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 resistors in parallel. We're going to learn more about that in a little bit. But whenever you have these little, lines and lines and lines as opposed to just one straight full circle, that's called parallel. This, by the way, is called series. If there's like resistor, 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 that's series, right? Where there's not these middle sections, right? When you have these middle sections, it's called a parallel circuit. So you would say, I have 4 resistors in parallel with a switch by the light bulb. Simple as that. That is circuits. In the next video, we're going to discuss power. And then we're going to confront the important age-old question, how much does it really cost if you leave a light on all night?